hymn 94th starts, Karan Kaaran ek Ohee jin kiya aakar. The one who has created all of the akar means the form. Okay. Akar does not necessarily only mean the body. Akar means the form. Karan Kaaran ek Ohee. He is the creator of everything. That's why those laws are unquestionable. You cannot challenge them. It's not a man-made. It's not a consensual reality. It's a very important thing to understand. Consensual reality is 2 plus 2 is 4. Why, if I say 5, what's wrong with that?
It's not correct.
Well, who says it?
Because that has been established by the
Agreed
society.
upon.
Agreed upon.
It has been agreed upon. It's a consensus. We have turned it into, well, that's a fact. Well, what do you mean it's a fact? Somebody put a symbol like this with a plus sign in the middle, a symbol like that, an equal sign, and then put this and said, everybody says 2 plus 2 equals 4. And we all agreed. That's not a reality. That's not a truth. That's a consensual reality. Everybody call her Asha. That's a consensual reality. A consensual reality versus the real thing would always be different. What we deal in this dimension is consensual reality. Our inner reality is totally different. That's why we end up being in conflict, because you remember that song? Zamana kahe meri raahon pe aaja, mohabbat kahe meri baahon mein aaja. Consensual reality is something else. Inner reality is something else. दिल कहता है मैंने वहां जाना है, जमाना कहता नहीं वहां नहीं जा सकते, तुम यहाँ आओ. And therein lies a conflict. Internal reality versus the external reality. External realities are mostly consensual. And this is talking about the internal reality, not consensual reality. If somebody comes back and say, well, no, wait a minute, he didn't do it all, I don't agree with that. Okay. Doesn't make any difference whether you agree or not, whether you accept it or not, that there is a creator. All of this discussion between the creationist and evolutionist, has it changed anything? It cannot. If the evolutionist will insist that there is no creator, okay, fine. Keep on arguing. Does it change anything? And if all of the evolutionists also get together and say, okay, now we agree, there is a creator, would it make any difference? जे सब मिलके आखन पाहे वड्डा ना होवे खाक ना जाए. If everybody says he is, doesn't make any difference. If everybody says he's not, it doesn't make any difference. And that's the statement here. Karan Kaaran ek Ohee jin kiya aakar. Because it is that creator's wish, what can you do? Tise dhyavo man mere sarv ko adhar. Then the only choice available is to be in that memory, to be in that acceptance, be in that surrendering mode. There's no other possibility. So, गुरु के चरण मन माहे ध्याए छोड़ से अकल सियान पा साठ शब्द लिव लाए. So what should you do then? It's all very simple. The one who has gone before you, who has actually experienced it, seek the guidance and counsel from there. Gur ke charan man meh dhyaye. Not literally. Literally translated is कि गुरु दे पैर अपने मन दे अंदर लाया. हम पैर अंदर छाती फाड़नी है. You can't do that. The idea is surrendering. When you are talking about charan, you're talking of the humility. You're talking of the surrendering. You're not talking of the physical body. Right? It's not talking of the feet as a physical feet. Gur ke charan man meh dhyaye means surrender, be humble, and get that message from the guide, the Gur, the one who has gone ahead of you. And then what should you do? Chod sakal seyanapa. Suspend your own intellect. Suspend your own logic. Otherwise there is no surrendering. If you still keep on arguing and fighting back, well, and I tell you, when I was very new in this country, a lot of parents wanted me to teach their children music. And then they would come and they say, my child already knows this. Let him show you. Okay, go ahead, show me. Okay, now let me tell you the bad habits that you have found because of this. We need to first change that. No, why don't you start from here then? So, the teacher first needed to learn how to teach each individual parent's child. And I said, this is not for me. This is not for me. A lot of people called me a lot of names, and when they will come, I said, I don't know how to teach, please. Go somewhere else. It's mind-boggling that you go to a teacher, but you have a preconceived idea even about the teacher. When you have that idea, you can never learn. You can only learn when you drop all of your previous notions. That's why when you go to a mandir, when you go to a masjid, when you go to a church, there is a boundary. When you cross that boundary, the whole idea of the boundary is the world remains on this side. Now you are entering a different world. So put everything outside. That's why in every mandir there is a little bell on the top. And when you strike the bell, that is a reminder to you. You are not supposed to put the step inside the temple unless you have put all the noise outside and get tuned to the single sound. That's what that bell is. Turn inward because you are now getting into the mandir. But unfortunately, we take the outer world with us into there. Right? So the first thing we notice is, let's find out what is the new fashion. Who has the new clothes, new jewelry, new dress, new colors, new shades. That's the very first thing we notice. That's a side commentary on our basic existence. And that's why I say, Chod Sagal Seyanapa. Intellect. If you do not suspend the thinking, then next stage is impossible, which is Shaj Shabad Livalai. Saj Shabad, the true word, the inner reality, not the external world, not the external reality, the inner reality. You will not be able to focus on that. You will not be able to collect all of your thoughts with that. So you need to suspend the previous belief systems. Kabir says, Kabira, Sant ko milne jaiye, saath na lijiye koi. If you are going to meet an evolved soul, don't take anything with you. They translated it. Go alone. That's not what it's saying. Going alone means what? Don't take anybody with you. Not human form. That's not what it's talking about. Don't take your thoughts with you. Go empty. And once you are on that path, then what? Hear it? पीछे पाव न दी जाई आगे होए सो होए. Once you have given up, once you have surrendered, then get whatever you can from there, and don't you have a shaky faith about it, because it won't help you then. That is a requirement on walking on the path of spirituality. You cannot be shaky. You cannot be oscillating back and forth. You got to move forward. And that's only possible when you first agree to chod sagal se anapa, shaj shabad live laye, rahao, dukh कलेश ना भाव व्यापे गुर मंत्र हृदय होए. If you notice, dukh word and the klesh word is highlighted. It is underlined. Because it's not talking about the dukh that we are familiar with. To us, the dukh, pain, suffering is when we physically suffer. No. Take a look at the word dukh.
Yeah, I see.
And kha is underlined. Right? There's a anchor there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normal spelling would be da, u, and kha.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was kind of.
There
When you said highlighted, I
Yeah.
was looking at.
Highlighter.
Yeah.
Yellow highlighter.
No, not necessarily. But
I have
darker.
I have always said that whenever there is a upi
But
matra,
how do you know? If I would read it, I would say dukhu.
Yeah. And that would be misleading.
So how would anybody know?
Well, you gotta know the language.
Very good.
That's the language.
You gotta know the word. So dukh. But which dukh? That's why there is a anchor, there is a uki matra, there is a highlight. Uki matra is a highlighter which says, pay attention to this. It's not the one that you are used to. Similarly, klesh, sa is underlined. What is klesh? That discomfort that is being experienced in the inner reality, not in the outer reality. And what would happen? Dukh klesh na bhao vyapay. It won't bother you. Now pay attention here. It's not saying it won't come. Discomfort will be around you. In the body and in the mind. It's all there. Because you are living a physical life. But when the consciousness arises above, it just becomes an observer of it. It doesn't touch you. You just see. Right now, what do we say? I have a headache. My stomach hurts. Well, do you have a headache? Head is aching, I understand that. But you are not aching. Head is aching. You are not the head. When you can distinguish yourself, you stop saying, I am hungry, I am sleepy, I am sad, I am happy. The I disappears. When I disappears, because the I is the one which is observing both feeling of happiness or sadness. So if I disappears, whether there is happiness or sadness, you are beyond both. That's what it's saying. Dukha klesh na bhao vyapay. It doesn't touch you. If you are in that, why? Gurmantar Hirdaya Hoye. Now you are absolutely attached with that word, mantra, which the one that you got from the Guru. When you are focused on that, try focusing the mind on more than one thing. See what happens. Try looking at the two things with your eyes. See what happens. Try listening to one thing from this year, one thing from this year. See what happens.
Confusion.
Total chaos. You can't do that. So, when you are focused on Guru Mantra, you are transcending the Dukh Kalesh, Na Bhav Vyape Guru Mantra Hirde Hoye, Kot Jatna Kar Rahe Guru Bin Tare Ho Na Koye. And Gurbani says, people have tried other methods because the insistence of the mind, well, I am smarter than everybody who have gone before me. They really did not know what they were doing. I am going to do it in my way. And then, Aristotle used to say, when I was young, I had all the answers. When I grew, some of the answers became a little hazier. And now, all I have is the questions.
Correct.
When people say ignorance is a bliss, that's what it means, not knowing is a bliss. You reach to a blissful stateness when you acknowledge your ignorance. When you become aware that it doesn't matter how much you know. As they say, more you know, less you know. I remember my first job in New York, Long Island, and I had that as an emblem in my office. More you know, less you know. And my vice president of operations one day came to my office, took a pen, and then wrote next to it, less you know, higher you go.
Very nice.
And I went to his office and I said, you have no idea what you have said. Because it is such a profound statement. Less you know, higher you go.
Very true. How are you interpreting that?
He didn't mean it that way.
He had no clue. Chod sagal seyanapa, we just talked about it. As the intellect drops, ego drops, the knower inside you starts dying. When the knower starts dying, you start rising. The consciousness starts going. What is holding us down to this dimension is just our memory, just our experiences. If we had some sort of a soap with which we could just wash it away, it would be very, very easy to do that. And that's what we were saying. Understand that people have tried different methodologies, different things, because they are using with the mind. Yesterday a young man called me from San Jose and wanted to say, and he said, Uncle, when I do something, Isn't it counter-indicative? I mean, what am I achieving? There's nothing to achieve. Everything is already here. Okay. Isn't God there already? So, what should I do to find Him? It's there. Okay. You don't want to do anything? No, but that's also counterintuitive. If I don't do anything, and I said, is there a third option? So that's my problem. I don't have a third option. Either do or not do. And I said, how about doing without doing? Well, how can you do that? Now that's an interesting thing. So then I took him. I said, are you listening? He said, yes, I am listening. I said, are you? Of course. Do you know that you can actually try to not to listen, but you can never listen. You can try to not to listen. And I said, no, you're running me in circles. Yeah, that's the whole point. Most of the time, you would say, would you please say it again because my mind was somewhere else. But the listening was already there. I mean, the words went out, they struck your eardrum, the energy was converted into sound, from sound to, and the brain interpreted it. Why you want me to repeat it? Oh. Listening is not something that you do. It is happening automatically. With the mouth you can say because you have to open the lips. With the eyes you can say I'm opening the eyes. What are you doing with the ears? Are you opening the ears? They are already open. So how can you say I am listening? Why is this I attached with an activity which you have never done in your life? You may have become a stumbling block in the listening, but you have never listened. Now, here's an example of something happening without you saying, I am doing it. Now, learn from listening and teach that to doing. Can you raise your hand without being conscious of the fact that I am raising the hand? Can you sit without thinking, I am sitting? Sitting is happening. Hand raising is being raised. Why? Because the energy provided for all of this is coming from somewhere else. It's not your own creation. That's how you get caught by your own intellect, which is what Gurbani says, Shod Sagal Se Anpa. That's why it is saying, people have tried. Kot jatna kar rahe, gur bin tareo na koe. People have tried. Kot means unlimited, ungiven. They have tried since the time immemorial. And eventually they have to fall back onto the word of the one who has gone ahead of you. Then Guru comes in and he breaks those bonds. Because mostly we hold our shoes, strings, and then yell to the bird, somebody please help me, I can't get out. Leave the shoestring. No, but if I leave the shoestring, I'll fall. You won't fall. Leave the shoestring. Have faith. There's a beautiful metaphor that somebody was riding a hilltop, and while riding he slipped. And while he was falling down, a tree branch. He held on the tree branch and he's hanging by the tree branch. He looks down there, there is a ravine which is very deep. And he starts yelling, somebody save me, somebody save me. And suddenly he hears a voice. Let go of the branch, I'll catch you. Looks down, he can't see anybody. Somebody please save me, somebody please save me. The voice comes back again. Leave the branch. You're not going to die. Let go. Please, somebody save me. Keep hanging. You say that you know. Somebody, or whenever he's awake, oh God, please take me. I'm sick and tired of this life. I don't want it anymore. And that night he goes to sleep. And in that dream, he's falling down from a hilltop onto the ground. And he starts yelling, oh please save me, please save me. And someone said, would you make up your mind? Do you want me to take you or do you want me to save you? And he wakes up. Oh, thank God, I want to never say again, please take me. Because you might actually listen to that. I was just kidding. What is that? That is the mind playing tricks. Which is what Guru is pointing out here, saying, Kot jatana kar rahe, gur bin taryo na koi. People have tried. It hasn't worked. So, listen to those who have gone ahead of you. Dekh darshan man sadhare paap sadle jaye. Now, this line is used by today's so-called saints. See, Gurbani says, Dekh darshan man sadhare. So, all santa de darshan kar liye. It's not talking about that. It's talking about the darshan that you will have inside of that creative energy. When will that happen? Dekh darshan manasadhare. See, we put it reverse. Okay. Once you have that, then your mind will be completely at peace. Siddha ho jayega man, manasadhare. Actually reverse है. कहते हैं जब मन सिद्धा हो जाएगा फिर उसे दर्शन हो जाएंगे. Not the other way around. Not the first have the enlightenment and then the mind comes at peace. It's the other way around. The mind needs to come to rest first. And then you will get to see that glimpse. Paap sadle jaye. This is a direct hammer at the theory of karma. Because theory of karma demands that if you do this action, there must be a corresponding reaction. है ना? अगर पाप किया है उसकी सजा लेनी पड़ेगी ना? Theory of karma. But if that's the case, then this cycle can never end. Right? One action to the other reaction, one reaction to the other action. Continue. Whether that action is good or bad is totally irrelevant. If it's a good action, there will be a good reaction. If it's a bad action, there will be a bad reaction. But you cannot get rid of the action or reaction model. Then how do you break the cycle of life and death? That's what it's saying. There's only one way to break the cycle of life and death. Because theory of karma is applicable in a physical, emotional and intellectual dimension. It's not applicable in a spiritual dimension. Because in a spiritual dimension, there is no action reaction. It's one-sided. So, if you get there, you freed yourself completely. You absolve yourself completely of the action-reaction model. This is translated as that I am bowing to that person who is doing this. Now, those people surrender themselves. How? They surrender their how. Kiske? Tinke. To him. They surrender that. Where is this message coming from? Je Guru ki pyari pai. By being humble, surrendering to the Guru, he taught how to surrender to him. He taught me how a doing can become non-doing. How to be without being. How to be an observer without the object. The subject, object, observation, and the observer, everything merges into one. You have experienced the ultimate reality. That's enlightenment. So long as they are separate, individual, you are trapped into the life or model of or dimension of sensuality. Once you are in that mode, then Sadh Sangat Man Vasai, Sach Har Ka Nao, Sevad Bhagi Nanka, Jinna Man E Bhao. Sadh Sangat Man Vasai. The Sadh Sangat is not out there. And that's what is traditional Sikh would not like to hear. Because they say, Guru ki saji niwaji pyari Sadh Sangat jiyo. Everybody's Sadh Sangat. That's not what Guru Bhani meant. Sadhi Sangat, that's inside, outside. Outside the Sadh is badegi. How can you have the Sangat? Over there is just Sangat. Sangat means collection of people, gathering of people who are actually desirous of and getting ready to do the work which is internal rather than external. A party, a club means collection of people who are together to have fun, to enjoy each other. A Sangat means those who are ready to actually go into the process of evolving. Sadhu Sangat is actual meeting your inner sadhu. That's why he is saying Sadhu Sangat Man Vasai. Sadhu di Sangat andar hundi hai, baahar nahi ho sakti. What is the sign that it is there? Sach Har Ka Nao. It's only possible when that Hari name has actually manifested inside you. Then that is when you would actually experience the Sadh Sangat, Sevad Bhagi Nanda. Blessed are those, Jinna Man E Bhav, those who have actually made up their mind, those who are walking on their path, those who are endeavoring to get there. And if you are going to go there, if you are going to attempt to do that, then you would need to move on to this path, which is the next hymn. Sanch har dhan puj satgur chhod sagal vikar. Sanch har dhan. Sanchana means to gather, to collect, to accumulate. But what do we accumulate? Right? We accumulate various wealth, various form of wealth. It says, well, now you need to change your mindset. Since you are into hoarding, let me give something else to hoard, which is what? Sanch Haradhan. Haridhan. That means, Hari means the ultimate creator. Dhan means that wealth. If you want to collect something, then collect that memory. And how how would you do that? If you don't repeat, if you don't memorize, if you don't chant, how would you remember? It's a very simple equation. If you most of your life you memorize something else, and then once in a while you say Hari Om, okay, fine. But that's not it. You are collecting something else. But if you, instead of doing that, if you say Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om for the rest of your life, as you are going through your life, then you start falling into that mode. Sanch hardan pooj satgur chod sagala vikar. So if you want to do any kind of meditation, then keep that Sadguru word in mind and chod, leave sagala vikar, leave all the negative energy behind you. Jintu saj savarya har simar hoye adhar. The one who has actually created you, if you start chanting, memorizing, simar means to make it a part of your memory, then it's possible, hoye udhar, you may transcend the cycle of life and death with that. Jap man naam ek apar, so it brings you back to start the process, which is, start the process. Eventually, Japana will become Simrana, Simrana will become Dhyan, Dhyan will become Samadhi, but start. Jap man naam ek apar, but bear in mind, jap should not be of something that mythological characteristic. That's one thought that will be hammered again and again. That you must find a word which is Naam ek apar. It should only point you out, direct you word, that one, the ek, the one. Anything that ties you into not the one but many. So if you are going to say Ram and the Ram points you out to the Ramayana, then that word is very dangerous for you. But if you say Ram and Ram points you out Ramaya, that's very good for you. So Gurbani alerts you. That's why, and this is again, people immediately jump to as if it is a personal criticism or attack, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to draw the distinction. When we say Jai Siya Ram, we have focused on the Ram that was a husband of Sita, which has the entire story behind it. It's not going to let you go beyond that. Okay. Radhe Krishnan, we have now tied ourselves with a name which would create other memories, which will arouse other memories. And Gurbani says, watch for that. Don't do that. Pick a word that only points you out with that one. It doesn't matter. It's going to be diddly squat. It's irrelevant. The word is irrelevant. What it creates inside you is the important thing. What memory it creates. What emotions it creates. And there should be only one emotion. And that's why it is emphasized here. Jap man naam ek apar, pran man tan jinhe diya hriday ka adhar. Because he is the creator of what? Pran, man, tan. The consciousness, the mind, and the body. It is all his creation. He is the supporter. And again, the word he is a convenience. A lot of people get attacked with that. Well, why can't it be she? Well, she is just as wrong as he is. That's a linguistic convenience. Well, in your Sikh hierarchy, why wasn't there a female guru? What kind of argument is this? What kind of a question is this? Guru has no body. Just appears to be. Once you achieve that state, male or female, child, black, white, totally is irrelevant. I mean, I see that in Christianity. Why the Jesus is always shown as white? Why can't he be black? Oh, paint him black. Does it make any difference? If you can't go beyond even that much, how are you going to experience any spirituality? If your mind is stuck up on a he, she, white and black. Ek, the one who's the creator, has no characteristics that are associated with a human. It cannot have any characteristics. If it did, it would become limited. Therein lies the difference between the Sikh theosophy and the rest of the religions. All of the religions try to put some characteristics around. He's all wise. He's all forgiving. He's all kind. He's all graceful. Oh, but by the way, if you do not obey his commandments, he punishes. How is it different than me? I have all those characteristics. No. Rise above it. It's a pure energy. Has no characteristics that are human related. That's why in Sikhism the word is nirlev. Untouched. Niranjan. Niranjan. Anjan means the color. Kala. Black color. Niranjan. No color. No shade. No name. No face. No form. No characteristics that are associated with the human can be given to that to define it. You can actually define that energy by saying what he is not. You can never define him by saying what he is. It's impossible. He cannot be defined by saying he is like this. Now you can say he's not that. He's not afraid of anybody. He doesn't carry any enmity for anybody. Nirbhav, Nirvan, Akal. Look at all these words. They're all negative in nature. Nirbhav, Nirvan, Akal, Ajuni. What are these? All negative. Because the moment you say he is like this, you have limited him. You have drawn a boundary. And which is the problem with the Christian model when they say he created the creation in 6 days and then he rested on the 7th. Before Judaism and Christianity go with that model. That means that the creation is done. That means he's not creating now. That means the creation is limited. And Sikhism says absolutely not. He will never be done. The creation continues. It has no beginning, it has no end, it has no middle. A human will never know it. He's not limited. And that's what is this line basically saying. Pran man tan jine dhiya hriday ka aadhar. He's the creator of all. He's the supporter of all. He's the sustainer of all. Kam, krodh, ahankar, mate, vyapya, sansar. The outer dimension, the sansar, is basically engulfed or is surrounded by what? Kam means desires. Krodh. When the desire is fulfilled, you are happy. When it's not fulfilled, you are angry. Kam, Krodh, and because you are, your ego, Ahankar. That doesn't mean the rest of are covered. It's just as an example, all 5 are covered here, even though 3 are mentioned. Kam, Krodh, Ahankar, Mate, Vyapya, Sansar. The whole of the world is playing the drama trapped into those 5 evils. Pao Sant Charni Lag Charni Mite Dukh Andhar. Pao Sant Sarni Lag Charni Mite Dukh Andhar. In order for you to transcend these, start by surrendering to the one who has gone ahead of you. Pao Sant Charni, surrender yourself. Where? Lag Charni. Once you surrender yourself to that, he would give you, or she would give you, the methodology to do what? Mite Dukh Andhar. Andhar means the darkness. But what of darkness? Agyanta. Not knowing. That's the darkness. Gurbani is not talking about this darkness. The darkness inside. So he will help you to remove that. Sat Santokh Daya Kamave Ehe Karani Sar Aap Chod Sab Hoye Rena Jis De Prabh Nirankar. Sat Santokh Daya Kamave. Now these are the signs that the person is starting to walk on the path, which is what? Contentment. Daya, having compassion.
Interesting tune.
It's from India. Satsantokh daya kamave ehe karni sar aap chod sab hoye rehna. The compassion. Now understand the difference between pity and compassion. Pity is a negative energy. We give out of pity. That actually creates a feeling in you that you are higher and the other is lower. Compassion creates gratitude in you. I have overabundance. It's overflowing from me. Flower always blooms out of compassion. What else will we do? The fragrance is there. It just cannot contain. It spreads. It's overflowing of energy. This concept of daan karna hai is such a wrong concept, because daan creates the feeling in you. Somebody there should be to take it, right? If you are going to give daan, then somebody has to be deserving to take your daan. That means somebody has to be lower. But if you were to take that word away and replace it with daya, the compassion, its quality will change. And that's why Gurbani is not talking of that you go and start distributing wealth. It's saying they learn daya. If you have compassion, then whenever you see something, the compassion will overflow automatically. You wouldn't have to do anything. The doer will not be there. It will be just outpouring of the energy. And if there is no compassion, there is no possibility of dharma ever coming inside you. Dhaul dharam daya ka put. Daya is the compassion is the mother of the child dharma. There's no compassion in the heart, then the rest is all drama. You are acting to be a dharmic, but you really are not. Compassion, you start with compassion. And that's why it says Sat Santokh and Daya. In order to develop that, you first have to have contentment inside you that whatever I have, I'm okay with it. Right? I mean, if you are always short, how would you share with anybody else? Right? It's impossible. But you will find there are people who may not be as rich, but they find giving so easy. And there are people who have so much abundance, yet they find giving so difficult. And they try to cut every possible corner. They want to take every excuse. Many times I would run into something like that and I will say something and they will say, सरदार जी ਅਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬਚਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬਚਾ ਬਚਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਣੇ. When you remind them, you have so much. Why are you doing this? Well, I have so much only because of this characteristic. You want me to change that? Stay there. Contentment and compassion is the foundation of starting on the path of spirituality. Sat Santokh daya kamave ehe karani sar aap chhod sab hoye rehna. Aap chhod. Suspend the self-awareness. Suspend the ego. उसकी निशानी क्या होगी? सब होए रेना. Rain literally means the feet dust. Dust that touches your feet is rena. What it's pointing out again, surrendering the ego, submission. आप शोध सब होए रेना जिस दे प्रभ निरंकार. That is one of the biggest blessing from the Creator, if you can get there. ज्योति से सो सगल तू है पसरया संसार कहो नानक हर भरम काटया सकल ब्रह्म विचार. Whatever is visible to you, to your senses, it's all His creation. He's in all of it. All is one. And once that gets into your heart, then what happens? Kaho nanak bharam kateya. What is a bharam? Madhave, kya kahiye bharam hai sir? Jaisa janiye hoye na taisa. Bharam means what you believed to be is not. That's bharam. An illusion. That's why many times when we get carried away just watching a movie and we cry and we laugh and we joke and the only thing is just flickering of the light and what are you getting attacked with? It's not there. I'll shut off the TV, it will go away. No, but I'm going to watch a movie. Let me keep the tissue box right next to me. That is believing something that's not there to be true. Nobody's dying there. Nobody's suffering there. Those people are laughing all the way to the bank. And we are sitting in front of the TV crying. We never wake up. there is a story about Buddha. Somebody was sitting in his congregation and he was speaking. And the person, just as we normally do, right? I was doing this. Was shaking his leg. And he wanted to pick up that man and ask him to go out. So why? So look, he's not even aware of his own body, he's going to be aware about his mind. He's gone to sleep. The leg is moving and he's not aware that the leg is moving. Ask him, are you doing it purposely? If you're doing it purposely, you're disturbing everybody. That's wrong. And if you're not doing it purposely, that's even further wrong. Get him out. He doesn't belong in Sangat. Awareness. That is, when you are not aware and you believe something that's not true to be true, it's called a bharma, an illusion. How does that create a problem for us? It makes something unreal real for us. The human experiences that we think are real are actually an illusion. Why? Jo disay so sagala tu hai pasaraya samsar. The reality is that whatever we see is actually him, one becoming many. Pasaraya. It's expanded from one to many. Unfortunately, we only see the many, we do not see the one in the many. Our eyes stop at the necklace and we start looking at the pearl, but we forget the thread that's keeping the necklace together because it's hidden. Once that becomes clear, what happens? Kaho Nanak Guru Bharma Kateya. The illusion is gone. You start seeing the truth, which is Sagal Brahma Vichar. This is the whole Brahman. This whole Brahman becomes his creation and he starts becoming visible. So, we want to do one more. Sukarat Dukarat Mande Sansar Sagalana. Positive and negative. Dukrit and Sukrit. Do is negative, so is positive. Krit, action. Dukrit Sukrit. Mande, Sansar Sagalana. The whole world's drama is a play between the positive and negative. The interaction of positive and negative. Why is that important to understand? Because we become judge. This is good, this is bad. Damn the bad, reward the good. And it was never meant to be that way. Just a choice. Because if the night wasn't there, day would be totally irrelevant. You wouldn't know that there is a day. Go to the North Pole. For 6 months they see nothing but light, and for 6 months they see nothing but darkness. They have no concept of day and night. Only we do. So this illusion, the creation basically was a drama between positive and negative. But instead of seeing it as a drama, we saw it as a reality and started becoming judges. And Gurbani says, you need to wake up from that. Dukrit Sukrit Mande Sansar Sagalana Duhute Rahad Bhagat Hai Koi Virla Jana. There is a rare being who understands that and accept that in reality. Those are the ones who are called Bhagat. The definition of Bhagat is what? Definition of a meditator is what? The one who understands this difference and transcends the both. But this is just a play. He neither gets attached with the positive nor with the negative. He neither sits in judgment of the negative nor a celebration of the positive. They are both there. He just becomes the observer of the two. He just watches the play and enjoys the play for what it is. But it's not an easy thing. Koi virla, some rare being can get there. Thakur sarvhe samana. Isn't that beautiful? Thakur sarvhe samana. You can cause something bad only if you only had the light of the Creator and he didn't. What makes you? What makes a good person good? Isn't he and bad person bad? The bad person has the same energy. The one you labeled bad has the same energy. One you labeled good has the same energy. They were just two roles, two different roles. Thakur Sarbhe Samana. In positive and negative, both he's there. क्या कहो सुनो स्वामी तू what पुरुष सजाना. Is there any word? क्या कहो? What can you say about it? There's no word that is going to define or make it any difference. Why? Tu vad purk sujana. Because you are creator of all, positive and negative. So all one can do is surrender. Surrender to what? Man abhiman mande so sevak nahi. The one who's trapped into the game of the ego can never ever be the true meditator. It's impossible. Man abhiman mande so sevak nahi. Tat samdarshi santo koi kot mandahi. Tat samdarshi. Samdars means to be able to see everything with the equipoise sight. Samdarshi. Samdarsan. Sam means bravo, equal. To be able to see everything with the same type of look. This is for me, but this is not for me. You have just become a judge, a jury, an executioner. Of who? The one who created it both. Tat samdarshi santo koi kot mandahi. Kot literally is that of the millions and millions, there is a rare human being who developed that type of a foresight. It's not an easy thing to do, but that's a basic requirement. Why? Because the Creator is like that. Creative energy is like that. Creative energy does not make any value judgment about anyone. It doesn't matter whether you are a Hindu or a Sikh or a Christian or a Muslim. It has no relevance to him. The question is, have you developed the characteristics that he has? If you have developed all the characteristics that he has, then you can go and live with him. If you have not developed those characteristics, it doesn't matter how good a Sikh or a Hindu or a Muslim you were. You might be very good in the world, and the world might be praising you a lot, but that's totally irrelevant. Kahan kahavan kirat karala kathan kahanate mukta gurumaka koi virala. Kahan kahavan e kirat karala. The conversation, the discussion, the talk belongs to this dimension. What belongs to the other one? Kathan kahanate mukta. Free of all words, all speech, all language, all memory. Because this what is coming out of my mouth is part of my memory. There is an energy behind where these words are sitting in a random form. And that energy is arranging those in a consistent, continuous pattern. So naturally, that energy has to work faster than my speed of sending the words to you. So I'm bound by that memory. But the one who rises above all of this goes beyond all the words. The pure observation without any thought, any memory, any word. All languages are irrelevant. Nehe Shabad. Who's that? Kathan Kahan te mukta gurmukh koi virla. Some rare individual will get to that state. That's why when two ignorant people may meet, there's a lot of noise. Right? They both trying to talk to each other. Continues. When one knower and one unknower meet, there is a monologue or a dialogue. When two Brahmgyanis meet,
Silent.
two silences. Their silences are so much saying that the words cannot say. To the outside world, this is what kind of nonsense is this? And it has happened in the lives of a lot of saints. And there's a story about Mahavira and Buddha meeting, because they were contemporaries. But they normally did not move in the same circles. And once their paths crossed, and they wanted to see what they will say to each other, so people gathered. His disciples, and they're all wondering, two Brahmgyanis, what a rare event on this planet. What would they say? For 3 days and nights they sat. And eventually, at the end of the third day, they bowed to each other and went. And the disciples are going absolutely out of their mind. What an opportunity lost. That's why that quotation came from Buddha. Eventually he said, what was there to say? His reality is my reality. What is there to say? The two silences are meeting. But we exchanged a lot. You just didn't know it. It's a rare event. We are so slave to the language. If you ever want to see that happening on this earth, observe two lovers sitting next to each other, looking into each other's eyes. What are they saying? Without using the language, they are saying a lot. If that is possible in the physical dimension, imagine how much is possible in the non-physical. But it's a rare event, rare happening. And that's what Gurbani is saying. Kathan kahanate mukta gurmukh koi virla. Some rare one understands this and achieves that state. Gat avagat kach nadar na aaya. Santan ki rain nanak daan paya. Movement or lack of movement. Gati or avagati. Both irrelevant. That's why if somebody was to ask you, we draw simple cross on a piece of paper, and we know that in the world of mathematics there are 4 quadrants, right? Going upward is plus, going downward is minus, going left is minus, going right is plus. Okay, fine. What sign should you put where the lines are crossing?
0.
Even that would be incorrect. You cannot assign sign to the intersection. So normally what they say, plus minus. Put both of it. Because they cannot tolerate not having a sign there. So they put plus minus both. Actually it's incorrect. You cannot put a sign there. Gat, avagat, positive and negative, movement or lack of movement, does not exist there. That state. Gat, avagat, kachinadaranaya. Where? Watch. Santan ki rein nanak daan paya. With the blessing, with the grace of that ultimate creator, get to experience that non-movement. Not a lack of movement, not absence, not presence, beyond the words. And there is no word for it. That's why it is so difficult. Explain and put it in words. Because words can only describe either yes or no. It doesn't know the difference. What is in the middle? So, how that does Gurmani solve that problem? It says both. It says Gat and Avagat. They both are not there. What is left is that. Peel the onion and you have taken all the layers out. What's left? Nothing. That which is left is that. It's neither nothingness nor somethingness. Something in the middle. It cannot be put in the words, but it can be experienced. If there is an urge, if there is an intensity, if there is a full of that energy, you can manifest it. Others have. May He give us the courage and the blessing to someday experience that state of